Hello and welcome to Newsroom series today. Our focus is on the north central region of Nigeria. I'm Olumide Macaulay. Thank you for joining us. First, the top stories. A bill to dissolve the 4 new emirate councils in Kano State created by former Governor Abdullahi Ganduje has passed third reading at the State House of Assembly. This is sequel to deliberations on the floor of the House during Thursday's sitting presided over by the Speaker, Honorable Ismail Falgore. The Kano State Emirates Council amended bill was considered on the floor of the House after scaling second and third reading. Members of the House of Assembly believe that a division of the Kano Emirate has reduced the dignity of the state and repealing the law will revive it to its lost glory. Former leader of the House, Lawan Dala, says the Kano Emirate Council served as a custodian of culture, which was distorted by the creation of additional emirates, hence the need to revert to Kano historical background of one emirate, one people, and one state. And as we pay attention to the north-central region of the country today, Justice Suleiman Belgori of the FCC High Court sitting in Garki has granted bail to a former Minister of Aviation, Mr. Hadi Sirika, who is standing trial for alleged fraud to the tune of 19.4 billion naira. The judge granted bail to the former minister in the sum of 100 million naira and 2 sureties in like sum. One of the sureties must have landed property within the jurisdiction of the court. The court also added that the former minister must not travel out of Nigeria without the permission of the court. The court also admitted the second defendant, Ahmad Sirika, to bail under the same terms and conditions. The court has fixed trial for the 28th and 29th of May. The Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Mr. Nyesom Wike, says President Bola Tinubu has restored hope in the minds of Nigerians in the past 1 year. The minister who made that remark during the ministerial sectoral update highlighted some of the achievements of his ministry. He listed the implementation of the FCT Service Commission, exit of the FCTA from the Treasury single account, improved security. Mr. Wike also highlighted infrastructure upgrades and announced the commissioning of 120 kilometers of road in 6 council areas and other projects from the 27th of May. No fewer than 501 shops legally operating as medicine stores in Plateau State have been sealed by the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria during a routine exercise to monitor activities of pharmacy operations in the state. The team, led by the Director of Enforcement of the Council Pharmacist, Stephen Esumobi, told journalists in Jos that 2 persons were also arrested during that exercise for tampering with the seal of the council and will be prosecuted accordingly, while those sanctioned for violation of operational guidelines will not be spared.
In fulfillment of its mandatory role of regulation, control, education, training and practice, the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria has invited Plateau State to monitor activities of pharmacy operators. For over a week, the monitor and enforcement team of the council visited medical premises and patient medicine shops in Jos, the state capital, and some local government areas made up of 167 pharmacies, 224 patient medicine shops, and 310 illegal premises.
Sorry, just... Has it attended to you? Not yet. Please, you can wait. Okay, you're getting your things out. We're taking them to your office.
After the monitor exercise in Jos, 74 pharmacies, 117 patient medicine shops, and 310 shops were sealed for various offenses.
The enforcement team of PCM was in the state in 2022, and several premises were sealed, while compliance directives were issued to others. The PCN tried all within its power to assist premises willing to comply with the laws and regulations as it affects the distribution of medicines. Many of these premises took steps to comply. However, information available through our surveillance team indicates that some premises are yet to take steps to comply, while new illegal outlets are emerging in different locations around the city of Jos.
In ensuring that pharmacy operations meet required standards in line with Pharmacy Council regulations, the state government is constructing a pharma-grade warehouse for drugs and medical commodities that will cater for dispensing drugs and other medical needs through the Drugs and Medical Commodities Management Agency.
Peddling fake drugs have come to an end. Working without licenses in Plateau State has come to an end. This agency that you're seeing, this warehouse, we are just about to license it with the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria. So if we license it, nothing stops any other person from licensing. So before you receive our commodities, you must show signs and seriousness that you are ready to receive pharmaceutical products. And pharmaceutical products will mean that you have to in yourself be prepared, you have to in yourself be licensed, and you have to also in yourself ensure that people who will receive these commodities get them as at when due.
The Pharmacy Council of Nigeria believes that with constant monitoring, regulatory steps embarked on issues of medicine sale in the open drug market, non-pharmacists having access and dispensing controlled medicines will be adequately taken care of and rid pharmacy operators of bad eggs.
Meanwhile, in Niger State, 6 days after the Minna building collapse, the Niger State Urban Development Board has pulled down the remaining structure, citing the breakdown of the excavator as a reason for the delay. The Director General of the board, Abdulrahman Chata, stated this during the exercise where he promised not to spare any developer whose building falls below the integrity test. Records from the Niger State Emergency Management Agency indicates that no life was lost and that 7 persons who suffered injury have since recovered.
We actually came here when the building collapsed and we demolished part of the building. Unfortunately, the machine developed a problem and then we're trying to fix it. It was fixed last night, eventually fixed last night. So, and that's why we're here this morning. As soon as we got the notice that the machine was fixed, we quickly mobilized last night and then we're here this morning to demolish the building. We've been engaging most of our staffs and we've been waiting at ourselves. The day before yesterday, we are out for over 4 to 5 hours with the PAMSEC Ministry of Works. And the major aim is to go around and see buildings that do not conform with the building plans of Niger State. You shall see a lot of buildings coming down very soon.
The federal government says it has assured that it will effect 0% import duty waiver on vehicles with compressed natural gas, CNG, as well as CNG kits as part of incentives to encourage conversion of existing vehicles to CNG-compliant vehicles. Speaking at a stakeholders engagement meeting on agenda for the Presidential Initiative on Compressed Natural Gas in Ilorin, the Program Director, Chief Executive of the PICNG, Engineer Michael Oluwagbemi, stated that the federal government is hoping to achieve conversion of 1 million vehicles out of about 10 million existing petrol vehicles by 2027.
The Presidential Compressed Natural Gas, a federal government program to promote the use of CNG as a cleaner burning alternative fuel for vehicles. With over 10 million vehicles on the roads and more than half being used for commercial purposes in Nigeria, government believes it will be a good alternative, and that has informed the stakeholders meeting in Ilorin, the Kwara State capital. Here, there are members of the transport unions and government officials from other states like Ekiti, Ondo, Kogi, and Osun.
There are about 10 million PMS-run vehicles in Nigeria out of about 12 million vehicles. About half of them are used for commercial purposes. And they move about 90% of Nigerian population. Mr. President's goal that he has set for us is that in the next 3 years, by 2027, Nigeria should have 1 million vehicles converted to natural gas, and we have begun the work to make sure that happens.
The Ekiti State Commissioner for Transportation, Kolawole Ajobiewe, believes that the CNG conversion program would alleviate suffering of the transporters, while the acting national president of National Union of Road Transport Workers expresses the group's readiness to embrace the new initiative, but has a few concerns.
Because of its colorless because of the fact that it is more economical than the one that we are presently using, that is the petrol oil. This one is natural, and it will help even our vehicle, the engine, to even last longer than before.
Our challenge is that how are we going to convert the existing vehicle we are using? Because it will be very hard. It will be very hard for government to provide us another new set of vehicle where the one we are using, we are going to put it aside. We have to do the conversation. And while doing that, we want the assurance. We want assurance that the conversion will be very, very good to us. On behalf of NURTW, we want to support this program.
This fear has been allayed, as the federal government will effect a 0% import duty waiver on vehicles with compressed natural gas, as well as kits to encourage more CNG-compliant vehicles.
This is the standing order of the federal government, and the import duty waiver IDEC is processed by the Ministry of Finance through the Office of the Special Advisor Energy. And those of us at the PCNG we're here to facilitate it for both those who are manufacturing vehicles in Nigeria, as well as those who are bringing in vehicles and conversion kits. Of course, they still need to comply with the regulations of Nigeria vis-a-vis standards, Organization of Nigeria and other regulatory agencies.
The PICNG boss adds that the waiver will save Nigeria about $2.5 to $3.5 billion every year and get the country off almost 10 million liters of petrol from its current usage.
10,000 farmers and herders have received inputs and cattle feeds from the Nasarawa state government to support agricultural activities in rural areas. Governor Abdullahi Sule, who made the symbolic distribution, also launched the distribution of 23 tractors to local government and development areas as he reiterated his vision to ensure mechanized farming in the state.
Mrs. Munira Abdullahi will give
fertilizers, herbicides, seedlings, cattle feeds, mineral salts, dewormers, among others, procured under the Fadama intervention of the Nasarawa COVID-19 Action, Recovery and Economic Stimulus NCAS program. The items are to be distributed to 10,000 selected farmers and herders from across the 13 local government areas of the state. Of the number, 8,500 beneficiaries are conventional farmers, while 1,500 are herders. The government has a focus to ensure food security with this intervention.
We set our focus to empower our farmers and enhance food security through this program. As a ministry, we have harnessed resources wisely, optimized budget allocations, and maintained fiscal discipline, which has enabled us to invest in initiatives such as this. And that truly matters to our citizens.
Governor Abdullahi Sule also distributes 23 tractors to the local government and development areas in its effort to strengthen mechanized farming.
All right, let's go back to more. Sorry.
Agricultural sector has received the desired attention. A landmark measure is in this direction is the commissioning of tractors to local government and development areas. It is pertinent, therefore, not surprising that the commissioner of these tractors and this farm input is a sounding success for the people of Nasarawa State. Our hard-working farmers congratulate Excellency Engineer Abdullahi Sule for this great feat.
It's a move to explore the agricultural potentials of the state, and the governor reiterates his resolve to provide the needed resources to boost the sector.
Today's occasion is therefore in furtherance of our sustained commitment to ensure full exploitation of our potential in the agricultural sector in Nasarawa State. In this connection, government is not just providing assets to the conventional farmers to invest in the farm and processing, but making efforts to ensure that small-scale farmers are not left out.
Leader of local government chairman gives assurances that items distributed will be utilized.
These tractors have come at the right time, and we must ensure proper monitoring, Your Excellency, and there won't be diversion to any state or place outside Nasarawa State.
There is also a promise from Governor Abdullahi Saleh that his administration will continue to give the agricultural sector a comprehensive support, not just with the NCARES intervention, but all round to empower farmers to achieve food security.
The Nasarawa State Governor, Abdullahi Saleh, says the implementation of the State Revenue Harmonization Law has increased revenue generation by over 300%. He stated this when he declared open a training on tax audit investigation, compliance, and enforcement. The training, which is in tandem with the Joint Tax Board, is organized for tax authorities of the 6 North Central states and the FCT. Our correspondent Halima Gayam has a report.
Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen.
Tax auditors from Benue, Plateau, Kogi, Kwara, Niger States, and the FCT converge on Lafia, the Nasarawa state capital, for a training on tax audit investigation, compliance, and enforcement, organized by the government in collaboration with the Joint Tax Board. The challenge of tax evasion, which has affected revenue generation, prompted the training.
The Nasarawa State Harmonization and Administration of Revenue Law 2020 aim at ensuring that the revenue collected by government are consistent and in line with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. It may also interesting to note that since the commencement of this law, the state has been able to improve our internally generated revenue by more than 300% within the last couple of years.
The Joint Tax Board says this is organized to equip officers with knowledge of best practices to overcome the challenges of tax evasion, underreporting, and non-compliance.
By enhancing their skills and knowledge in tax audit procedures, we aim to equip tax professionals, especially at the sub-national level, with the current techniques and best practices in tax auditing.
The Nasarawa State Governor, represented by the Deputy Governor, Emmanuel Akabe, highlights efforts by the government so far to automate tax processes, harmonize revenue laws, and financial and administrative autonomy of the State Revenue Service.
Our tax to GDP is the lowest in Africa, second to the last, because in terms of percentage, Nigeria has less than 10% tax to GDP ratio. South Africa, with a population of 60 million, has a tax to GDP ratio of 27%. Egypt has 14%. And the average tax to GDP ratio in Africa is 15%. So you can see with our huge population, our tax to GDP ratio is poor. Why? Non-compliance.
Tax authorities lament that Nigeria is the poorest in Africa as regards the payment of taxes, with revenue figures not commensurate to its population. The Joint Tax Board hopes to take the training to other regions of the country subsequently in order to improve Nigeria's tax administration. Halima Gayam, Channel Television News.
The Benue State PDP is planning disciplinary action against its publicity secretary after a stakeholders meeting led by Professor Nicholas Ada, a former minister of Foreign Affairs, questioned his support for President Bola Tinubu's 2027 re-election bid. Meanwhile, State Chairman John Ngbede warned against divisive views.
Members of the concerned Benue State People's Democratic Party stakeholders, led by a former Foreign Affairs Minister, Professor Nicholas Ada, gather in Makurdi, the Benue State capital, to resolve what they've described as a crucial party matter. They raised concerns about the festering divisions of the PDP ranks in the last general elections, born out of the activities of the G5 governors. The group wants the leadership of the party to stem the tide, especially now that it appears the State Publicity Secretary of the party, Mr. Bengba Iyotiom, has carried on the campaign for the G5 governors by proclaiming the party will support the re-election bid of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027.
At no time did the party in the state mandate Honorable Bengba Iyotiom to choose a presidential candidate for it, the way he portrayed in his interview, where he told the line of the G5 governors who had earlier in the year expressed their preference and supported the presidential candidates of another party.
The state chairman of the party distances itself from the publicity secretary's endorsements, promising some disciplinary actions.
We have called him and we have told him from where is he coming from in this matter. At what time did PDP meet before he went on the air? And he told that is his personal opinion. I'm not the opinion of the party. Because as the party chairman, I'm not aware.
This coincides with the PDP stakeholders meeting ahead of the planned ward and local government executive committee elections, attended by former Governor Samuel Otom and Gabriel Suswam and Senate Minority Leader Abba Moro.
When it comes to local government, there are stakeholders in various local government. Of course, for local government, I will go back to my own local government. I'll sit down with them, and then we'll agree as to how this position should go.
We are going to work so hard to make sure that we remove Benue from this draconian system that is in place here. We will work so hard. Well, at the appropriate time, we are going to ask our people who are supporting people at the federal level whether you are better than you were before.
Whatever leadership will emerge from the local government and the state will be the decision of leaders from various levels who we choose. We're not going to interfere.
The People's Democratic Party in Benue State remains unsettled after losing power in 2023. Fragile peace and reconciliation could be threatened by internal disputes among supporters of the three key leaders.
President Bola Tinubu has ordered a total and comprehensive review of the recently announced governing boards of tertiary institutions in Nigeria. The Federal Ministry of Education recently released names of nominees and chairmen, pro-chancellors, and members of boards and councils of universities, polytechnics, and colleges of education. It also announced that the inauguration and retreat for the nominees will take place on the 31st of May. According to the statement by the Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Mr. Bayo Ononuga, public reactions have shown that the nominations did not reflect the federal character of the country, as some states got just one nomination while others got many. The statement also states the President is committed to ensuring strict compliance with the principle of federal character as entrenched in the Constitution. The review will also take into consideration national spread and ensure every part of the country is adequately represented. And finally, a political group under the auspices of the Kogi East APC Youth Movement have cautioned politicians from the Eastern Senatorial District who are fond of ethnic politics to desist in the interest of development. At a press conference held in Lokoja, the state capital, they allege that some politicians in the eastern flank of the state are using ethnic politics as a platform for their selfish political ambition, and they want them to stop.
We stand firm, unshakable in our belief that the progress and prosperity of Kogi East and Kogi State by extension can only be achieved when we extinguish the flames of tribalism and instead embrace our diversity as a source of strength. United, we shall stand to move mountains. In just a few months, Governor Ododo has already demonstrated an indomitable dedication to the well-being of all Kogites, irrespective of tribal affiliations. With surgical precision, his policies have transcended these outmoded, regressive tribal boundaries to focus squarely on the greater good of our state and its people as a cohesive whole. To buttress this point, Governor Ododo has furnished each of the 21 local government areas of the state with a fleet of 5 operational vehicles and conscripted about 1,000 local hunters into the service to fortify the state security apparatus.
That's it on Newsroom series today. Thank you for watching. I'm Illuminated Paul.